I'll tell you folks, Clay Entertainment surely knows how to give your heart the love and hope it deserves, only to rip it out and make it beg for mercy in mere minutes. And the newest Wendy animated short is no exception to that either. I will not spoil much beyond that though, but be prepared to see a familiar face along the way. So give it a watch down below. But welcome everybody to the Wendy rework in all its ghastly glory. But I gotta be honest, I was pretty nervous about this one and maybe still am. But they did nail some of the mechanics I was looking for, so we'll be sure to touch on those soon. But we also got a brand spanking new main menu and new skins to boot. But we will be saving all of that for another day. So let's talk the new and improved sisterly duo. And first things first, no more waiting around for Abigail to be ready to be summoned, and heck, no more murdering needed to be done for the summoning to begin with. We can now just call for sisterly love at the click of a button, with a lovely animation to boot. This is obviously a huge change, but what does this lead to, and what the heck are these rile up options gonna mean for us? Well, the good news is that now, by default, Abby is programmed to stay as near to us as she can, without the wide roaming of the past per se. But this also translates to aggro though, as Abby will even refuse to fight mobs if she happens to get too far from you, or you just happen to skedaddle away. And note too that she now needs to be really close to even start fights with mobs initially, which is kind of interesting. But let's say we want to start the fight and we rile her up. She then just returns to the Abigail of old pretty much and aggroes on everything. And I mean like everything. She will somewhat perform an almost free roam-esque like mechanic and attack anything nearby, even if it's non-hostile or even if we haven't attacked it ourselves. But you will notice very quickly the decrease in health and damage. So what's going on there? Let's talk damage first, as things have changed dramatically from the Abbey of old. For you see, the amount of light and or time of day no longer impacts Abigail's overall damage as it once did. So, come dusk or night, we have to expect the same base damage output as we'd see otherwise. And this is due to Abigail's damage now being directly related to Wendy's overall health. I currently do not have the specific math, however, at full health, Abigail sits at 20 damage. When Wendy is at half health, that jumps to only 30 damage overall, but when at the literal edge of death, we see it skyrocket to nearly 60 damage at its base. Absolutely lovely, but obviously incredibly dangerous. But it does look like I got my glass cannon summoner I was looking for. Listen, 59 damage is a lot of damage. However, it is not the only damage change to be received. Abigail's damage is distributed among multiple enemies at once, as it always did. However, the mechanic has seen said damage distribution quote-unquote nerfed. In lamest terms, you won't actually do nearly 60 damage to every enemy nearby, only single mobs and or targets. That being said, higher base damage equals higher distribution of said damage, of course. So we can go from the mere 12 damage per tick to bloody 50 plus per mob. So yep, her small mob farming capabilities are still intact for the most part. However, the same cannot be said for medium to big bad still though. Man, we gotta get that health up somehow. Actually, we don't have to do diddly squat beyond making sure Abigail stays alive for at least one full day. For you see, Abigail now has levels of spirit. At spawn, it will sit at 150 total, but after a full day in-game, that will double to 300 overall. And then, give it another day's time, and it will double once more to 600 spirit, aka 600 health total. Absolutely marvelous. It appears that this is the max for now, but only 2 days for a fully maxed out Abigail is not bad at all. Also note that she actually doesn't have to be summoned in order to receive said upgrade, but if she is to die at level 2, she will revert back to default again. Oh, and her flower opens like it used to with each level up, which is a great touch. But let us say that 2 days is still too long for you. Enter one of Wendy's newest exclusive crafts, the Cistern. This will allow for Abby's spirit to grow way faster, but how does it work exactly? Well, you're gonna want to place 4 flower petals within one at any time to begin the turning of said urn. And at this time, Abigail's spirit timer decreases drastically. So much so that we can get a level 2 Abigail in half a day as compared to 2 full days without one. Incredible. But that is not all. The Cistern also comes with a positive sanity aura of plus 25 per minute, which is just unheard of these days. And yes, this applies to all characters as well. So Jesus, this thing just became one of the best sanity stations out there. All this talk about life, though, has grown dull. So what happens when Abigail actually perishes once again? Well, not only will we lose sanity each time Abby falls, we will have to wait for Abigail to regain her spirit at a rate of 1 spirit per second, it appears. But you don't actually have to wait until the spirit reaches maximum to summon Abigail again. But of course, a low health Abigail means a vulnerable one, so you gotta be very mindful there. Oh, and summoning Abigail now not only doesn't cost us 50 whopping sanity each time, we actually gain 15 sanity per summon. Now that's love. Furthermore, we can still speed up Abigail's healing through our own healing selves and or spider glands by applying them to her if we wish. But later on, we will be talking 2 new healing methods that have been added to the mix. However, this is still very good to know. But let us finally talk what I believe to be the best part of this update. Pip spooks. These ghastly balls of sadness are exactly that, unfortunately saddened by the loss of their belongings. So, let's help them out, shall we? Click to assist them, and they'll initially give you a general direction of where to look. Follow that lead for a time, and the pip spooks themselves begin to indicate how close you are getting with some ghostly pulsing around their heads. Get close enough to the right location, and eventually you will discover what it is the pip spooks are looking for. Ghostly trinkets. Allow the pip spook to receive the item, and they'll reward you with what is called Morning Glory. Wonderful. And every pip spook I've encountered thus far has needed 3 to 4 trinkets before disappearing. However, things may change for you. At the end of your journeys, however, you'll receive multiple Morning Glory flowers for your trouble, which is great. Pip spooks appear randomly at graves with a headstone, and can lead you most anywhere it seems, and this is why I like this mechanic so much. Now, what does Morning Glory actually do for you? Well, to answer that, we must enter Wendy's newest exclusive crafting tab, Octo Herbology. There are 6 new crafts related to the update, all with varying crafts, uses, and needs. Let's discuss. Let's say Abby took a bit of an knackering, which, let's be honest, is still gonna happen a lot in our games. We can use the Revenant Restorative to initiate an increased rate of healing of plus 2 health per second versus Abigail's usual 1 health per second gain. So, that's simple enough. But in a similar vein, we can use the Spectral Cure All on a weak Abby to temporarily cause a plus 20 health per second gain. And oh doggy, that's a lot. But again, temporary. The Revenant Restorative, on the other hand, appears relatively permanent until another tonic is applied. The Unyielding Drought is supposedly a shield, but unless I'm using it wrong, I don't actually notice all that much of a difference. I tried it versus multiple enemies, single bigger targets, and even while I was wearing armor and such to see what was up, but I really couldn't tell if things were worthwhile. Unless, of course, I'm just a big idiot and it blocks subsequent attacks after the first, like how the Ancient Crown does, and I think, yes, that's how it rolls, I believe. The Choleric Tonic increases Abigail's damage ever slightly. At base, this translates to 24 overall damage, with distributed damages meeting at just above 14 total. Up from 12, mind you. Of course, a lower health Wendy would mean more damage too. The distilled vengeance potion gives Abigail a bit of knockback damage per se, and in lamest terms, when Abigail gets hit with this potion on, her attackers take additional damage equal to a normal hit it seems. And do note, this is one of those that will eventually run out. And finally, the Vigor Mortis grants Abigail a speed boost for movement only, unfortunately. It is cool, I guess, but I really do not see how this means anything. She still can't catch birds, nor can we properly quote-unquote aim her ourselves anymore, so what's the point? Her new quote-unquote stick close option is enough to keep her out of dangers anyway. A few last notes here though. They have gone and changed the crafting recipe for Abigail's flower. However, there is now no reason to have more than one beyond simply losing the original. Wendy herself still boasts at 25% less damage overall while in combat, so we still gotta be mindful there. She also takes 25% less sanity damage from negative sanity auras and or darkness, while now also having 0 sanity loss from ghosts. And finally, since Abby no longer free roams or distances herself from us all the dang time, it is entirely possible to survive said darkness with no other light besides Abby. So thanks, sis. But there you have it, everyone, the Wendy rework. I am more than happy to say that they really did not tarnish the feel of playing Wendy at all, and I do like plenty of the changes. However, I cannot honestly sit here and say that it was one of Clay's best, actually. I think we're so close to the perfect glass cannon summoner that we're looking for, and with but a couple tweaks, we'd be there, and I'd be a happy beard. But as long as you enjoy it, that is all that matters. Thanks for watching, folks. Well wishes to all, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.